Yes, today is October 31st. Happy Halloween.
We're starting out with just I'm doing the whole lesson, my 7th and 8th period. This way y'all can see how I did even the math workshop. Starting out on number 4, on these 3 problems, 4, 5, and 6, the math workshop. Listen, we did this last week, and I told you that we would keep doing it again. I gave you 2 different ways you could do this. You could either find a common denominator with the 2 fractions, okay? Or I gave you a trick. Hopefully you remembered it. Listen, if you multiply up and kind of like, I call it catty corner, crooked, 5 times 6, you get 30. 15 times 2, 30. You can compare those 2 numbers. Since 30 and 30 are the same, they are equal. There was a trick to it. I was really hoping that you might look back at last week's math workshop. Okay, 11 times 8, 88. 13 times 9, 9 times 3 is 27. It's 107. No, 117. Sorry. 27, 19, 117. So the 2 numbers I'm working with are 117 and 88. 117 being bigger, 9/11 is bigger. Stop. Now, on the third one, going across, 5 times 3 is the 15. 6 times 2 is 12. The 15 is bigger. 3/6 is a half, and a half is more than 2/5. Kind of got 2 ways you can do it. Okay. Now, if you will get out last night's homework, it looked like this. Give me just a second. Okay. Now, starting out, I am not exactly remembering which class, but one of the classes we didn't fill in the whole chart. What they wanted, if you didn't get the whole chart filled in, they wanted the variables, meaning the letters in the expression. Listen, on expressions, and this goes into today's lesson big time, variables, numbers, and operations are what create an expression. You got to have at least one of these things, each one, to make an expression. So we had the variables, we listed the letters that were in these problems, then we listed the various numbers in the problems, and then the various operations. You got to have at least one operation to be a math expression. Okay? Now, going into these problems down here, one of the biggest mistakes that I've seen so far today, just to kind of give you a hint, is filling in the variable with the wrong number. So, as I go through these, it's not that I don't want you to ask questions. I want you to kind of see if you can find your mistake first. So, like number 4 here, B had to be 4. If you did 3, it's going to change your answer. So I had 14, 14, and 1.
1.
Anybody, any questions on those? 4, 5, or 6? It's okay. Just stick with me, guys. Okay. Here we go. 7 and 8. On 8, one of the most missed ones, but it hasn't been how to do it. It's been the 21 times 36. It's 756. We got to be able to do that math. Any questions on 7 or 8? I'm trying. Nobody's got a question. Listen, if you missed it and you can't find your mistake, let's figure it out together. Okay, this is my quiet group, by the way. Number 9 and 10 and 11. 9, 10, 11. I've had some kids who added that one, but other than that, it's been okay. Anybody, any questions? Which ones? I need you to stay with me. Do you have the work? No, listen, we got to do it. What you can do is work them tonight and then check them with your homework. The only reason I'm not taking a homework grade is I'm trying to video. I need some of you guys to kind of turn around. Get with me. Woo, okay. 12 and 13. I need to make an admit of a problem. I missed 12. If you are in first period and for some reason watching this video, my original answer that was wrong was 3. And half of y'all have 3 also. Here's what the problem is. I put parentheses around that letter A number of 3. And the first thing my eyeballs tell me is, hey, do parentheses first. But here's the problem. Officially, what that means right there is division and multiplication. So in the world of order of operations, it is multiply or divide from left to right. You have to do 18 divided by 2 before you can do the times 3. I missed it. It wasn't until second period that we found that mistake. Ms. Sawyer said many of her kids also missed it. It just, the way I wrote it, the way we usually write it, you might miss it. Okay? Yeah, a lot of people did. I got 18. Did you have the 9 times 3?
Nope.
Go back up. Did you have, I'm not sure what you had. What did you have?
I had the 2 top ones are right. I had that, and then the last 2 I don't know. I did 18 divided by 2 times 3. And then I put 6 times 3 is 17.
Now, if you did 18 divided by 2, I think what you're telling me is you did 18 divided by 2, but you said it was 6, but it's 9. I think that's it. So it's just a quick mathematical error. It wasn't like you didn't know what to do, it sounds like.
I did 18 divided by 2 times 3.
Uh-huh.
Since on the second row, it was parentheses.
Uh-huh.
I turned it to multiplication.
Uh-huh.
So then I divided 18 divided by 2, and I got 6, and then I divided.
That's what's wrong. Right there. Bam. Stop. 18 divided by 2. There you go. Is 9 instead of 6. But listen, that's a small error. Listen, that tells me that she knows what she's doing. It was just a small error. Sometimes it takes us like getting it out and kind of talking about it. She had it set up better than me then. Like she had it to this point. She just said 18 divided by 2 is 6, which is better than what I did up there, if you get my drift. So, listen, I make mistakes. I didn't first say it. 13 or 14? Anybody? Okay. I will admit, the last ones are a little more difficult. I've had a few questions, but it's just very step-oriented. I had a kid ask me about these, and all these. Do we have to show the steps? Yes! I've said it 10 million times. You should have as many steps as I do. Yes. 15. So go all the way back up. Did you have a 45? Did you have a 16? And then did you subtract? And I think a lot of mistakes today have just been 45 minus 16 and just getting that number wrong.
I got 39.
Okay, so I'm going to be honest. I'm going to work it right here and make sure. 45 minus 16, that would be a 9. That would be a 3. And 3 minus 1 is 2. So, It's okay. I mean, like, it wouldn't surprise me, guys. Everybody good on 15 and 16 now? Okay. The bottom one, 17 and 18. I love it because I missed 17 also for the same reason. I'll be honest, and you can see these weird little green dots. If you made the mistake I did, and you like got 2 on that one, you might want to start, if it's like 6 times A and you're rewriting it, maybe we should put a dot there. Because what it means is that you've got division and multiplication. What you should do is go from left to right. We've got to get done with this division, get a 6, before we multiply times 3 to get 18. But I'll admit, I mean, the first time I missed it, I had a 2. Okay? Yeah. Say it again. That might be the bottom of the sheet. I'm not real sure. I'm on 17 and 18. I'll have to find the worksheet. On the worksheet where it has the directions, on 17 and 18, it says A equals 3 and B equals 4. Right here. Where? Are you on the other side? Okay, like on this side? Listen though, here's the thing I explained yesterday. These are going to constantly change. It is not always A equals 9. A can be any number. So when we were talking about this yesterday, I kind of said, you got to watch the directions because it is going to change every time. That is for that set of problems. Honestly, if you look down here, they give you different letters. If you did the bottom ones, it's constantly going to change, and you got to read those directions every time. Okay. Yes.
On 17, I got 2, but it was because I accidentally divided 6 into it instead of 9.
Yes. And I did it. Listen, my first answer was 2. And all it is my brain thinks, okay, I see parentheses. Woo, get rid of those. And I'm like, wait a minute, slow down. You kind of have to take it and say, like this one, I honestly think if number 18, and I'll write it right here, but if you want to do it with dots, so you want to do 7.3 plus 8.4.2, then you can kind of ask yourself, do I do multiply or add next? Well, I do multiply. Bring down the rest of it. Then I've got multiply here that I got to get rid of. So I got 21 plus 32 times 2. Then I've got that multiply to get rid of. 64 plus 21. And then get the 85. If it'll help you. It's just I kind of went too fast probably, to be honest. Okay? Listen, what we're doing today is the same thing. I want you to look at these problems. They have numbers. They have operations, meaning add, subtract, multiply, divide, and they have a variable. We are going to write expressions today. We're going to make the math problems. To be honest, we're not even solving it. We are just making the actual math problem. Now, I'm going to say, this is not the easiest thing on earth. We're going to do this together. Most of it, 99% of it. The reason is, it's weird. It's words. We're going to take words and we're going to make math problems. Take last night's homework, put it behind classwork homework. You want to really get with me on this because this is totally new stuff. I'm going to take some time to explain it. Why not just giving you something and living with it, okay? This is weird stuff. Okay, I I will also be jumping around on these worksheets because I want to do the easiest ones first. Please stick with me. I will do my best to help you understand it, but you've got to stick with me to understand it. Okay, here we go. So today's whole lesson is we're going to basically learn to write an expression. An expression means a variable, an operation, and a number. Okay, I have in each class kind of gone through this sheet, maybe in different orders, but this has been the sheet that we're doing in class. Now, starting out when doing writing expressions, the first thing they ask you to do is what's called define a variable. Define a letter, define a variable. Now, some tricks of this. It is a letter. It needs to be lowercase. Okay? When we're doing this, I want you to think of what is it we don't know. That is the variable. It's the unknown. Okay? So like look at number 1. 9 less than a number. What do we not know in that sentence? Like we know 9, don't we? We know less than means subtraction. But we don't know what the number is. So, I'm to define a variable, I give it a letter. I'm going to be honest. I try to give them things that represent whatever in the sentence. So I'm going to give it N for number. You could give it X for number. But I'll be honest. That's why we define it. This is going to be step 1. If you put X for number or Y for number, that's fine. Just as long as you got what it means to you. Okay. Now we're going to write the expression. We're going to actually write the algebra expression. So if it's 9 less than a number, what is it going to be?
9 minus 8.
Now I want you to think about it. And there's a trick to it. Are we starting with 9 and taking away the number? Or are we starting with a number and taking away 9?
We're starting with the number.
9 less than a number. We're starting with the number before we ever take something away. And you think about subtraction. You've got to start with something before you can take it away. Here's the trick. I wish they didn't do this one first because honestly I wish it was second. I want you to look at something. There is this word right here. This is the magic word in all these problems. The word then. The word then means you're literally going to flip-flop the way you write it. So, I'm going to start with an N. 9 less than that is going to go on the back side. It's kind of like I flip-flopped it. I'm literally kind of like an X. But then, T-H-A-N, is the magic word. I just wish they hadn't done it first because it's not in every one of them. Okay? So look at number 2. 5 times the number of books in the library. What do we not know?
The number of books.
Number of books in the library, yes. Now, you could do B for books. You could do N for number. You could do B for books in library. Like, it doesn't matter as long as you are defining it. That is your definition of that letter. You could do X. We can all have different variables. Okay? Now, if it's 5 times the number of books, what do you think it is? 5 times B or book, whatever your variable is. Now, couple different ways to write multiplication. We're learning this. 5 times B can be written bumped up against each other. Or you could have a dot. You could even have with parentheses. Does not matter. Okay. Make sure your B kind of looks like a B and not a 6. Yes? Yes. I don't use X a lot. We're just kind of training y'all that usually it stands for whatever. X to me, when you guys write it a lot on your papers, I think it's a 4. like the X is kind of turned or whatever. S, did you say S or X? X. Yeah. But you can. I mean, you can use X. If you say my X stands for books, I have to count it right. As long as you got 5X or 5 times X. Okay. Number 3. 3 more pancakes than his brother ate. What do we not know? Pancakes his brother ate. So I'm just going to put P for pancakes. And if it's 3 more pancakes, then there's the key word. Flip it. So what we should start with the pancakes and then add 3 and think about it. We got to know how many he ate before we can ever add 3 more. Kind of makes sense once you think about it. But then helps you to flip it. 2 more than 7 times Lynn's age. Yes, it's got the then, thank goodness. But what do we not know? Lynn's age. We don't know Lynn's age. Now, you could do an L for Lynn, but I'm going to be honest. It's supposed to be a lowercase L. And usually lowercase L's in cursive. So, you could do an L for Lynn's age. It would need to be in cursive. Or you can do an A for age. That is fine. Doesn't matter as long as you define it. So 2 more than 7 times Lynn's age. So think about it this way. 7 times Lynn's age is 7L, right? Okay. Think about it. 7 times Lynn's age is 7 times her age, right? And then we got to fill in the back. 2 more. Plus 2. I'll be honest. I did it this way earlier. I think it looks better. So I did 7A plus 2. I did A for age. And then that was my expression. But if you do L, I mean, it's still right. It is a 2-step expression because it's got multiply and add.
So every time we do something including the L as a variable, it has to be first.
Yes, and let me give a quick lesson. Look up here real quick because it's weird. And I'll admit, I know that the cursive seems to have gone out of style for years, and y'all being especially in that group. Listen, in the algebra world, I need you to look because there's going to be a few weird letters. Okay, L is usually like that. F, look, some of you, your eyeballs aren't up here and it's scaring me. Look, F is usually wiggly, like that. Because I don't know why, but they make it wiggly if you see it on a worksheet or a textbook. E is usually cursive-y. I want to say there's one more and I can't remember what it is. I've seen I like that before. I don't see it very often. T. T is the other weird one because they put a little loopy on the end of it. That's the way, honestly, my mom and grandparents grew up writing T's. So I don't know if this stuff just hasn't changed through these years, but all variables do need to be lowercase. And if you define them, which is the first step, I can figure out what you mean, usually. Okay? Okay, so let's look at number 5 here. 9 minutes less than Francis's time. What do we not know? The time, yes. I'm going to do T for time. 9 minutes less than, here's the word then. So we're going to start with this chunk. We're going to start with the time and go back to this. 9 minutes less. minus 9. Okay. Now, I'm going to be honest. I'm going to skip number 6. I'm going to go to 7. Skip 6. Go to 7. Just leave it hanging. It's okay. Number 7. I like this one because it is a real-world question. On number 7, it says a plumber charges $50 to visit a house plus $40 for every hour of work. Define a variable and write an expression for the total cost of hiring a plumber. Guys, honestly, this is the way it works, but the prices are a lot higher. To just drive to your house and have an appointment and the person shows up, they usually charge us about $100. That is just to drive there. If they use a plunger for 1 second, you're paying $100. It's right now it's about $100. Okay, then for every hour that person works, honestly, it's usually about $80 or $90, which I know this math problem says 40. So if that person's there repairing pipes and toilets or everything else, and they're there 3 hours, they're getting 120 plus that amount. It adds up. Most of these people that are coming to homes to do this, people ask why. Well, it's because if they get there and the person says, oh, well, I didn't know it was working, you know, the toilet flushed right. Oh, I'm sorry, you didn't need to come. Then they wouldn't make any money. Plus, they could have driven across town for an hour to get to your house. So this at least gives them the money to kind of cover the gas and the time to come to your house. And then this will be the hourly rate. This is real world. This is all the time. Okay, so look at this. He charges $50 for a visit, $40 for every hour. What do we not know? How many hours? We don't know how many hours he's going to be there. Okay, so hours is our unknown. We do know he charges how much per hour. $40. So he charges $40 times every hour he's there, plus $50 to just drive to my house. So if he works 3 hours, it'd be 120 plus 50. If he works 4 hours, it'd be 160 plus 50. But I'll admit the prices are a lot more than that these days. But that's what we do in our heads before we hire the plumber. We sit there and we think, can we afford this bill or should we try to fix it ourselves? That is why, because the price adds up. Okay. On the back, look at these real quick. These shouldn't be too bad now that we've done a full sheet. Here we go. Number 1, one more ball than is on the playground. So what do we not know? The balls are on the playground, yes. So, if we have the balls on the playground and they want one more than, they want B plus 1. Okay. Number 2 here. 3 more cookies than are in the jar. What do we not know? Cookies in the jar. You could put cookies. You could put cookies in jar. It's up to you. But we're starting with the cookies in the jar, and then we're adding 3. And those key words are in here. I just kind of quit highlighting them. And if you want to just pre-highlight them, you can. That's fine. I'm just, it's up to you. Okay. Number 3. 12 fewer questions than were on the first test. So the variable is first test, or T for test, or Q for questions. 12 fewer would be subtraction. Yes. Sorry, I thought you said fraction. Start with the test and take away 12. Okay. 8 more than the shirt costs. $8 more than the shirt cost. Okay. Shirt cost. I'm going to do an S, even though it looks like a 5 sometimes. Be careful. Make sure it kind of define it. If it's 8 more than that, S plus 8. Is that good? Whatever's first, put last. We haven't seen many of these. 3 times as many drinks on the tray. Drinks on the tray. And if we're doing 3 times that, it would be multiply, 3D. Couple ways to write it. You can bump them up against each other. You can put a dot. You could put a parenthesis if you're just... $5 less than Yumi's pay. We don't know Yumi's pay. You could do Y for Yumi or P for Yumi's pay. If it's $5 less than her pay, we start with her pay and then flip it. We're going to minus 5. Number 7. The English class has half as many students as the math class. Our variable. C for class. You could do E for English class. It's kind of weird. When they mean like half as many, what does that mean? Division divided by... Think about like if you have half a pizza. What do we do with a pizza? And divide by what? 2. So if it's half the English class, I want you to think about it. You got a couple ways you can write it. Start with a class. You can do the fraction and divide by 2. You could write it this way with the division sign of 2. Either way is fine. I'll be honest, in algebra world, you're going to see more of this with the fraction bar as you get older. But you start with the class and you divide by 2. Number 8, 1/3 of Emily's age. What do we not know? Her age. So if it's 1/3 of it, division divided by 3. Now listen, you could do A divided by 3 or A divided by 3. Sorry, I was trying to think of that way. There is another way you can write this. The keyword of. Of means multiply. So I want you to think about it. If we multiply her age times the third, or 1/3 A, it is the same thing. Because that would end up with being A over 1. So I'll be honest, if you're getting any of these, I would take them. Now, listen, here's the plan. We're going to stop with this. I want you to put this behind notes. The reason is, for some kids, this is really, we're going to keep practicing this week. But I just kind of want to stop there. Okay, now, I'm trying to give you some time in class to work on this, but I need you to first fix a few problems. I'm going to even try to do a few problems on this video in hopes that you're more done with it when you walk out of here than when you're not. Later. We're good right now. Stick with me for math and we'll do that later. Okay. We are just practicing because I didn't want to send you home with the crazy sentences because it's kind of scary. We're just practicing order of operations. The problem is 3 of these will land you with negative numbers if you do not fix what I'm getting ready to tell you. Okay. Here are the 3 things that I need you to fix. Here we go. So, this is the worksheet. We're just practicing this some more. I think we also need some practice with a little bit more difficult ones. Okay. Start out with this one, number 7. Will you please take off this 2 right here? The squared sign only on number 7 right there. I need you to mark that off. Take that off. Okay, the next issue, and it's not that they're mistakes, we just kind of haven't learned how to do this. On this one, take off that squared sign, or we would end up with a negative answer, which is number 3. Take off that squared sign. And the last thing is this negative symbol. On number 4, in front of the 2, there's a negative sign. Please remove that also, or you're going to have issues when you try to do this assignment. That one right there. Now, let's do some together, because here's the thing. They're just a little bit more complicated than the other day. We just got to keep telling ourselves the order of operations. Here we go. Let's do number 1. What should we do first? Parentheses. What is 34 minus 6? 28. That is the one new number for that line. Then I bring down everything else. What should I do next? The exponents. 4 squared is 16. That is my new number for that line. Bring down everything else. One new number per line. Okay, what is the next new number?
14.
Yes, subtraction. 28 minus 14 is 14. Yeah, we're all right. I just couldn't catch up with you. And 14 plus 16 is 30. Okay, go down. Try number 2. I love number 2 because we're finally seeing 2 sets of parentheses. Please sit up and get with me so you don't have as much homework. We need to do this set first. But what do we need to do in that set first? Exponents. What is 3 squared? 9. This is my one new number. I then bring down everything else. Now what? 33. I got to do this one first, right? 33 minus 9. 24. Bring down everything else. No, you cannot do 2 steps at one time. Okay. You have to do next. 1 plus 5. 6. Bring down everything else. And 24 minus 6 is 18. Trying to hold 2 pens and it's not working. Listen, one new number per line. Okay, let's do number 3. What should we do first? 28, yep, parentheses. 28 minus 4. 24 minus 12 minus 7. What should I do next? 12, yep. So you get 12 minus 7. And 12 minus 7 is 5. And you are good on that one. PEMDAS, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. Remember, like if you're forgetting the steps, we should be doing P for parentheses first, E for exponents. So like if it's 4 squared, that means 4 times 4. Then multiply or divide from left to right. And then add or subtract from left to right. We did this 2 days ago, so I was just kind of thinking maybe we didn't need help. Okay, in these parentheses, what should we do first?
6.
The exponents. 6 squared is?
36.
Ooh, good. 36. I get always worried that we're going to tell me other numbers. Okay, now what? 60 minus 36? 24? I was still doing it. Now, 2 plus 4? 6.
18.
And 18, yes. Love it. And number 5, ooh, I like this one. It's got a couple different steps. 7 squared should be first, which is 49. Good, good, good. I'm going to bring down everything else. Okay, in the parentheses, should I do multiply or add? Multiply. I got to do that first. I get the 30. Now do the add. 30 plus 49.
79 minus 5 is 17.
Minus 5 is
74.
74. Good. Okay, your homework is to finish the last 5 of these. There's 6. If you do not have a worksheet, you could at least write them on notebook paper. There's 7 and 8, 9 and 10. Please do them at warrior time so you don't have a ton of homework. You're welcome. There's 4 and 5. You may go.